What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to one of my more exciting adventures that I've brought you guys on. I feel like, at least. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a good day. I know I am, because today we are putting a new motor in my Evo 10. In the last couple days, we put the car on the dyno, we blew it up on the dyno, we pulled the engine, we pulled apart the engine to find just a burnt exhaust valve on cylinder number 2. So here's cylinder 1, cylinder 2, 3, 4, exhaust side, valve, burnt, toasted, crispy. Thankfully, our bottom end is beautiful. If you guys watched yesterday's video, you would have seen that. So here's cylinder 2. Here's piston on cylinder 2. Thank goodness we have fully built internals in here. If we had stock pistons, probably would have done some damage. But either way, this short block one day is going to come apart. I'm going to go through it, refresh it, get it ready to go for this car. I may go to a little bit beefier of an engine as well. But that is not the point of today. The point of today's video is it's going to cause a lot of controversy, which is okay. I'm just doing what I think is going to be fun and enjoyable, and not everything in life really has to make sense as long as you have fun. That's what I've realized. I'm kind of getting old. I'm like 28 years old, and I'm still a kid at heart, and sometimes I do dumb things. Today is definitely one of those times where I'm definitely doing something dumb. But long story short, let me just make this quick and simple so we can get to work. I picked up a used, I don't know how many miles are on it, completely stock 4B11 out of an Evo 10. So as you can see, it's a short block, head, intake manifold, just a complete engine out of a wrecked car, if I'm not mistaken. And we are putting this in the Evo 10 with the ETS turbo kit, with the big fuel system. We're actually going to a bigger fuel system as well, with all the mods that were already on the car. And we are going to attempt some insane power on a stock Evo 10 engine. I have decided to donate an engine to this cause. I went out, I bought this motor, and if it blows up, it blows up. I know it's gonna blow up, to be honest. I hope it lasts a while. Sometimes stock engines surprise us and last a little bit longer than we would think. That's what I've noticed in the past, especially like Bobby's STI. That thing made like 500 plus wheel on a stock motor for a very long time. And that's not all. We are going from a 6266 precision to a 6870 precision. So we're putting a pretty damn big turbo on this, and I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen. So let's go ahead. As you can see, I have yet to even open up this engine. So let's crack it open, get it off the pellet, and we gotta start getting some stuff installed back on it. Pretty much all this stuff over here has to go on. The trans, the T-case, the turbo kit minus the turbo. That already has an intake manifold, so a lot of the stuff on this table we're not gonna need. Of course, we're gonna be running the same ACT mod twin. So I guess the quick build breakdown of how this new setup is gonna be is a completely stock Evo 10 engine, unknown miles, unknown condition, unknown internals. I do know it has decent compression because I saw videos of it. ETS turbo kit with the Precision 6870, dual wastegates, ACT mod twin, ID 2000s. We're going to dual Walbro 450s. I have to run all new lines in the car for the new fuel system, fuel lab regulator. What else we got laying around here? Yeah, obviously intercooler and exhaust and all the other little things associated with making power. But I hope you guys are excited, or as excited as I am. Probably not as excited as I am, but I'm pretty freaking excited for this experiment and test. If you guys know, most power anyone's ever made on a stock 4B11, it has to be 100% stock. From the oil pan all the way to the valve cover. We are actually gonna swap the valve cover because it's got a plastic valve cover on it. And I don't feel like catching the car on fire, so we're gonna go to aluminum. But if you know the record for stock 4B11, comment down below. Has to have stock valves, springs, cams, pistons, rods, crank, all the good stuff, stock sleeves, just a stock engine. I don't know what the power record is. I don't really care. If this thing made north of 600 on the Mustang dyno, it's still a lot of power. The car made 600 on the Mustang dyno with the built motor with the 6266. So if we can somehow make more power than that with a stock motor with a bigger turbo, I'd be impressed. I must say, this thing is super freaking clean. Look at this. I wonder what year that is out of. 2015? 14? Definitely a newer one. Obviously it's out of 08 because of the plastic valve cover, but I have never seen an engine this clean. Kind of excited. We have new coil packs as well. If cylinder 2 coil pack is what took out the motor, which is either a coiler or an injector. Kind of nice that we have a spare set. So this, my friends, is the new turbo for the stock motor. Like I said, this is a 6870. If we bring it over here and do a little comparison versus what was on here, you can tell it's a good amount bigger. A little bit scared, a little bit nervous, but honestly, this should help to keep the stock motor together a little bit longer, I think, just because it's going to shift all the power higher up in the RPM to where it's not going to take out a rod immediately. So we need to do a little bit of swappy swap, pull the drain line off, get it on here, and I think that's about it. Yeah, that should be the only thing we need. Oh yeah, that is a big girl. I don't know if this is gonna last. Hopefully it lasts the dyno. So unfortunately this turbo is so big that it hardly fits. As a matter of fact, it doesn't fit and we're gonna have to do some modifications. This housing, the compressor housing, hits on the V-band for this wastegate over here, as you can see, and it's going to cause a massive leak right there. So we can either grind the housing of the expensive turbo or grind down the cheap ass clamp and hope the clamp doesn't break. You already know what I'm going to do. All right, we got the turbo to fit. Hardly, it's still definitely hitting, but it's gonna work. That is very large. So the whole turbo kit's done, manifolds on, dump tubes, all that stuff is good to go, wastegates. We're gonna move on to the front now. Gonna go ahead and install a spare set of ID2000s that we have laying around, and then we're gonna install the radium fuel rail as well. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and swap the valve cover to the aluminum valve cover. Two reasons. Number one, it's awfully close to the turbo. Plastic catches on fire, burns the car down. Number two is we need all the fittings anyway for our catch can. So we have our engine strapped onto our turbocharger and everything else is strapped onto the engine. Now we're gonna go ahead and pop it off of the engine stand and get it up in the air. On the crane over there, we got to get our ACT clutch on. It's kind of funny, this thing has maybe 500 miles, 600 miles in it max. So that guy's gonna go on, still brand new condition. And then we're gonna put the trans onto the engine and just put the engine and the trans in the car together. I'll do the T-case later on and should save us a little bit of time by doing it separately, and I'll show you guys why here in a minute when we get to that part. So we now have the engine and trans assembly sitting underneath the car. I'm gonna lower the car down on top of it and then pick it up with the hoist and get the driver and passenger side motor mounts on. Next up is going to be the T-case. So the reason I left the T-case out and didn't bolt it on before is I'm gonna go ahead and fill the T-case with the proper fluid right now. I'm gonna put a whole quart in the tail here, just dump it right down in there. And then I'm gonna put the drive line on so it doesn't all leak back out when it tips backwards. And I'm gonna try to get up in the car like that. Doing it that way, if it works properly, is gonna save us a good amount of time filling it later on. Next up is the entire subframe. This is going way too easy, my friends. We're probably about an hour, hour and a half away from the first start. Hopefully, our used motor runs. You already know if you've been following the channel, but the first bolt we put in is that rear motor mount back there, or I guess it'd be like a pitch stop. And now we're gonna put all the subframe hardware back on, and we are almost done. Well guys, believe it or not, this is actually a motor out of a rally yard. Now I haven't really done much research. I'm not exactly sure of the differences, maybe some cam differences, piston differences maybe. But the reason I know it's out of a rally yard is because if we come up here, these are the fittings where the Evo 10 oil cooler would connect. And I know rally yards are just capped off like that. So hopefully that doesn't hinder our results. If you know the difference between a rally yard and a Evo 10 4B, comment below. Maybe they're identical and it doesn't really matter, but maybe they are different and it does matter. Well friends, the car is kind of complete. It is complete enough to go ahead and hit the first start. As you can see, it's a very, very, very temporary setup. I did not have the proper coupler for the new housing on the turbo, so that's what we got for now. And all I really want out of this thing right now is a cold start for the boys. So we got engine oil, trans, T-case, no coolant, because I don't care about that right now. Like I said, I just want to see if this used motor is actually good or not. So coils are unplugged. Let's see if we can build some oil pressure. And if so, I'll plug them back in and see what happens. All right, see how she sounds too. We got 4 cylinders. Here's our oil pressure gauge. It's gonna take a sec. Come on. Any day now. Still nothing. It could have been sitting too long to where the oil pump is just completely bare and dry. Holy smokes, we may have got the fired up. Give me something. There we go. I'm happy with that. Cool, let's see if we got oil pressure. I mean fuel pressure, yep. We got fuel pressure. I don't see any fuel leaks. I don't really see any oil leaks. Let's send it. Send it for the boys. Not very nerve-wracking when it's a used motor. A lot more nerve-wracking when it's a brand new motor. All right. First used motor I think I've ever bought in my life. Feels kind of funny. Could be that exhaust leak. She's pretty damn lean, but Oil pressure solid. Yeah, it's probably that exhaust leak. Hell yeah. You gotta check engine light. I guess it's probably lean because of stuff like this. I'm sure that has something to do with it. All right, boys, I am happy. I'm content. I'm gonna go ahead and call that a wrap. Ooh, man. Holy smokes, I'm tired. I am so exhausted. This has been a long few days. So, yeah, I met my goal for a start. I want to get this thing on the dyno ASAP. We do leave out of town soon. No leaks. And I do want to get this thing dynoed and turned all the way up and see what the stock motor can handle before we head out. So that is the goal. Hopefully I can accomplish that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of this weird test that we're doing. I know it's kind of a lot of money, but someone's got to take one for the team, right? And I guess I'll be the one to do it. One last look at the new setup. A little bit janky, but tomorrow we'll get it all buttoned up and hopefully go ahead and hit a first drive. That's the goal. Hope you boys enjoyed. Peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow.